Okay, ONYX Storm full spoiler theory is coming up, so scroll if you have not finished already. I don't want to ruin this for you. But this is the second video in this series that I am making where we are trying to figure out who Xaden's new Venin brother is. In this video, we're going to talk about Bodhi, who I think is the top candidate. First of all, we know that the new brother has known about Xaden's Veninness for 5 months. That, from on-text evidence, narrows it down to Bodhi and Garrick. Plot-wise, I think it makes sense for Bodhi because he was in line for the throne, and Xaden was very evidently preparing him for this position. When we realize that Violet and Xaden get married, one of the top reasons that just went to my head, why would Xaden do that when Bodhi was prepped to go on the throne, is that possibly Bodhi is now unfit because he's Venin. In terms of character, I also think it seems like a Bodhi thing to do, to just follow Xaden, become Venin with him. In that Xaden chapter, he thinks, how could he willingly walk the path I fought like hell to leave? Who would be the one who would walk the most similar path to Xaden? Bodhi, as a Venin, as the person on the throne for Tyrrendor, that would be literally Xaden's current path. And then just a fun little quote from Iron Flame. After Liam, Bodhi was and still is the closest thing I have to a brother, perpetually tagging along a step behind. Again, reinforcing the fact that Bodhi is always tagging along, is always a step with Xaden, will do whatever Xaden does. There's also that interview floating around with Rebecca Yarros where someone asked her what would Xaden order at a bar, and she says a beer. And they're like, okay, what would Bodhi order at a bar? And she's like, probably the same thing as Xaden because he just does whatever Xaden does. Would that include turning Venin? I feel like symbolically, it's always been in our face that Bodhi is going to be Xaden's brother. In the Mirror rescue scene, we get Bodhi literally as the brother decoy. And on top of that, we get Theophany goading him. So Theophany speaks of Bodhi and says, odd choice for companion, seeing that you reek of his kin. Tell me, do you not grow tired of being a less powerful version of your cousin? So now Bodhi's just pissed. He's like, I need more power. And Bodhi argues, my signet is always the balance. But then that hope gets pushed down because he ends up not actually being able to reverse Theophany's signet. Violet literally points out your signet must only work on our magic, not theirs. Maybe Bodhi just decided he needed to be Venin so he could help reverse Venin power because he's basically useless at this point. So now we have a motive. If we then jump to Imogen's chapter, this is the last time we actually see Bodhi's name on page. Bodhi is on his hands and knees across the town square, retching. Could this be the moment that he turned Venin, that he channeled from the ground? He is, right? He's on his hands and his knees on the ground. What position do you need to be in to channel from the ground? You need to be touching it, right? His dragon, Cure, I'm probably not saying that right, is also last seen. So his dragon is obviously wounded. My main question here is how then did Bodhi get from the middle of the town square to that canyon south of the city? It seems like a long ways to walk. I don't know if Cure would have been able to fly Bodhi there as well because he had a hole in his wing, so I don't know if he could have taken him there. So that's kind of the only missing piece in the Bodhi theory. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna go through Garrick in the next video.